Women are more likely to experience mental health problems after giving birth than at any other time in their lives. Up to 20% of mothers suffer from postnatal distress. Sarah had experienced depression in her life before, so she knew she was susceptible to it.
I don't know what it's like to be a new mum other than my experience, but I knew that the anxiety I was experiencing was way higher than what I was prepared to accept.
I found my wife quite grumpy when she had postnatal distress. I felt pushed away quite a bit. I wanted to jump in there, grab the baby and make everything okay, and that didn't happen.
So what sort of support have you been getting this week?
Sarah contacted her midwife, who registered her with maternal mental health services, and her doctor referred her to Susan for counselling.
Although she goes back to school next week.
The risk factors for PND include a previous history of depression or anxiety for herself, a previous postnatal depression, a family history of mental illness, a perceived lack of support in her environment, and relationship difficulties, as well as any other childhood sort of trauma like sexual abuse, infertility and abortions.
But sometimes it can seemingly come out of nowhere. There are certain signs to be aware of.
You're looking for someone who's lost interest in something that they normally would have interest in, having difficulty sleeping, which is not difficulty because the baby's waking you, but you're having difficulty sleeping when the baby is sound asleep. When you're feeling quite distressed or angry or upset at times when there really isn't any reason for that. And certainly at its most extreme, mothers or fathers who are worried about harming their babies or feeling really entirely overwhelmed and unable to cope. These are situations that we want to take seriously, and those parents really need to get support so that that trajectory can get turned around.
And I slept through till 8 o'clock.
The help you can receive ranges from support groups, through psychotherapy to medication.
I think responding quite quickly when you feel that you are battling depression is quite important, because the sooner you get onto the problem, the sooner you're going to get on top of the problem. And you don't want to have your baby tracking you in a depressed way. You want your baby connecting with you in an enlivened, joyful way.
A baby's early experiences are critical for their brains to form good connections.
So the mother who's really depressed can't give her baby the sorts of stimulation and excitement and smiling and a vivacious face, if you like, that actually sets the baby alight and starts them making those connections and wiring themselves up.
Hey, look who's here. It's your Auntie Danes. Hello, Princess.
Other sources of help for a woman with PND can include getting practical assistance with housework, groceries, washing, looking after the toddlers, looking after the baby, trying to rest when she can, saying no to others, and maybe getting outside and going for a walk. It will change how she feels.
Here we go.
Hello, my gorgeous little you.
The partner is really important when you have a mother who's got postpartum depression. And we find that the babies will respond to any adult caregiver at that stage. So, you know, grandmother, you know, auntie, dad, they can often take over and give the baby what the mother is unable to do at the time.
I wouldn't wish PND on anyone. It's not that much fun, that's for sure. The big thing for me is no longer wanting to be Miss Independent and do everything myself, but actually have a much better time actually doing things with people helping me all the time.
Let's go for a walk.
Recovery begins with asking for help, and the sooner you ask for help, the sooner you're going to be able to be in a space enjoying your baby, enjoying your family, and getting on with your life.